Hey folks, yesterday when I was going through my box of old stuff, trying to find that chant that we did before and after lectures to make sure I did it the right way, because there's several different versions of it, and Nishijima Roshi used a kind of a unique version of it, I found this. This is a printout of an email that I received from Nishijima Roshi back in 2006, and he's copying me on an exchange that he had with a student of his named Gustav Eriksson, who's in Sweden. And I guess Nishijima Roshi wanted me to have this. It's a series of 30 questions that Gustav Eriksson asked Nishijima Roshi, along with Nishijima Roshi's answers. I used this in a lecture that I did in Nebraska. I think it was in Nebraska. I hope I'm not insulting anybody who might remember that. That this was the basis for the lecture that I did. And I believe that is online somewhere on YouTube. I didn't put it up, but I think somebody did. It was at a university, so maybe the university put it up. And I might have put this on my blog a long time ago, back, when it was still new. But I've never used it for this YouTube page, so I thought I would go through it and talk about it. I don't know if this is going to be a long video or what, but we'll see. Remember, in case you fall asleep before the end, I am supported by your donations via PayPal and Patreon, and the links are below this video to do that. That is how I make my living. I'm doing my taxes, and I realize every time I do that how pathetic my book royalties are and how much I really need your donations, so thank you. So here we go. Gustav asks, what is gained in Zazen? Nishijima Roshi says, what we gain in Zazen is the balance of the autonomic nervous system. That was a favorite trope of his. In Shobo Genzo Bendowa, we can find the word Jiju-yo Zammai. Now that's kind of funny. Almost everybody else in the Zen sect pronounces it Jiju-yu Zammai. And Nishijima Roshi always said Jiju-yo Zammai. And if you look at the kanji characters for it, it should be pronounced Jiju-yo Zammai. I even showed this to Japanese people, and they said, yep, definitely Jiju-yo. For some reason, in the Zen tradition, in the Soto tradition in Japan, they say Jiju-yu. This is why you might have heard it Jiju-yu Zammai. In this Jiju-yo Zammai, Master Dogen indicates as criteria of Zazen. That's what he says. That's a weird grammar. I think he indicates his criteria of Zazen. The word separates into two parts. One is Jiju, and the other is Jiyo. Therefore, Jiju-yo is a combination of Jiju and Jiyo. Jiju means to receive ourselves, and Jiyo means to utilize ourselves. So sometimes this is called the samadhi of receiving the self and utilizing the self. Therefore, we can interpret that Jiju-yu suggests the function of the parasympathetic nervous system, and Jiyo suggests the function of the sympathetic nervous system. Ooh, I don't know if I really want to go into that. I believe the parasympathetic nervous system is... Oh God, I never can get these right. I'm going to stop the video and look this up. Okay, I looked it up, and the parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest part of your nervous system that controls you being relaxed and feeling nice. And the sympathetic nervous system is the part that's fight or flight or makes you very kind of keenly aware of things. And Nishijima Roshi believed that in the practice of Zazen, you bring these two parts of the autonomic nervous system into balance. And so you are feeling neither too stressed nor too relaxed. So Jiju suggests the function of the parasympathetic nervous system, and Jiyo suggests the function of the sympathetic nervous system. And furthermore, Zammai means the balanced state of the autonomic nervous system. Actually, it literally means samadhi, but that's how he interpreted it. Then we can understand that Jiju-yo Zammai is just the balanced state of the autonomic nervous system which modern psychology and physiology teaches us today. That's his answer there. Number 2. What is Master Dogen's Flowers in Space? And Nishijima Roshi says, the Flowers in Space is the title of the 43rd chapter of Shobo Genzo. And in the chapter, Master Dogen explains that even though Buddhism insists that both intellectual consideration and concrete sense perception are not real, but at the same time, Master Dogen insists that both the intellectual consideration as thesis and the concrete sensuous perception as antithesis are useful and necessary. Kind of strange grammar, but I think we can understand that. Because utilizing these two fundamental criteria, we can understand reality on the basis of dialectic thinking, utilizing the philosophy of action as the synthesis. There's a lot to unpack there, and if you ask me questions in the comments section, maybe we can see which of these I might want to do more on. Number 3, what is the meaning of Dharma transmission? In Shobogenzo, we can find the 16th chapter, which is entitled The Certificate of Succession. And in this chapter, Master Dogen describes the transmitting ceremony of Dharma, the way you're supposed to do the ceremony to transmit Dharma. Therefore, the transmission means the transmission of Dharma, okay. And Dharma means the Buddhist truth, the universe, and real action at the present moment, and reality itself. Therefore, we can interpret that Dharma transmission is giving the certificate of realizing the Dharma from a Buddhist master to his or her matured disciple. Number 4, what is a Zen Master? I guess that the word Zen Master, or the words Zen Master, may be the translation of the Japanese word Zenji. Zen is the common between the two words, and shi means a teacher. Therefore, a Zen master means a teacher of Zazen. But I think we should be careful in thinking about Zen, because in Buddhism we sometimes find a strange fact, that the word Zen is sometimes used for representing a special meaning of something mystical. Such kinds of Buddhism use the word Zen to represent some kind of mystical but powerful entity. But I wonder whether in Buddhism such a kind of mystical entity exists or not. And Master Dogen hates such a kind of mysticism so strongly, and so in Shobogenzo he writes his opinion as follows in he wrote in Shobogenzo twice. And here's the quote. People who do not learn this truth in practice speak randomly and mistakenly. They randomly call the right Dharma eye, treasury, and the fine mind of nirvana that have been authentically transmitted by the Buddhist patriarchs, maybe ancestors is better, the Zen sect. And they call the ancestral masters the Zen patriarch, okay, Zen ancestors. They call practitioners Zen students or students of dhyana. And some of them call themselves the Zen schools. These are all twigs and leaves rooted in a distorted view. Those who randomly call themselves by the name Zen sect, which has never existed in India, in the West, or in the Eastern lands from the past to the present, are demons out to destroy Buddhist truth. That's what Dogen says. They are the Buddhist patriarchs' uninvited enemies. So we should be careful to use the word Zen. And this is something Nishijima Roshi was really hot on. He didn't like to use the word Zen. I, in the past couple years, have just decided I'm not going to fight it anymore, and I call what I teach Zen Buddhism. And I know that Dogen is probably rolling over in his grave or in his urn where his ashes are, or wherever he ended up, hearing that. But I think just as it stands today, we're kind of stuck with that as a distinction between what we do and what other Buddhists do. So shoganai, as the Japanese say, but it's a point well taken. Dogen was of the belief that Zen Buddhism was Buddhism. That sort of thing gets Americans like me in trouble, where people think, oh my god, next thing you're going to do is burn down all the temples of the non-Zen Buddhists and throw them in concentration camps. And really, it's not like that. It's just the insistence that this is the proper way to do Buddhism. And if you don't like it, you can do it a different way, and that's fine with me, and I think that's fine with pretty much anybody who practices Zen. But there is that insistence that this is the true lineage. Number 5, what is intuition? Intuition is a mental ability which has a function to decide a conclusion transcending mental consideration and sense perception. When the sympathetic nervous system is stronger, the intellectual consideration works well. When the parasympathetic nervous system is stronger, sense perception works well. But when the autonomic nervous system is balanced, the ability of intuition works well directly. Okay, nice one. Number 6, here's a juicy one. What is our true original nature? Generally speaking, it is usually impossible for us to know our true original nature, because it is just a simple fact at the present moment. So it is usually impossible for us to grasp it at the present moment. Good answer. Number 7, what is Buddha nature? In chapter 22 of Shobogenzo, entitled Busho, or the Buddha nature, Master Dogen describes it as follows. If you want to know this Buddha nature, remember causes and circumstances as real time are just it. I would say pay attention to that line. Therefore, Buddha nature never exists in the past, never exists in the future, but exists only in the present moment. So we can think that Buddha nature is reality just at the present moment. Okay. Number 8. What is heaven and hell? Heaven is a human supposition and hell is also a human supposition. But when our autonomic nervous system is balanced, it is just heaven. And when our autonomic nervous system is not balanced, it is just hell. Okay. Number 9. What is life and death? Nishijima Roshi says, when our heart has stopped, and if it doesn't move again, the state is called death. And when our heart is moving still without stopping, it is called life. Good answer. Number 10. What is the meaning of the Buddhist idea of emptiness? Ooh, here's a big one. The true meaning of emptiness in Buddhism has been misunderstood for so many years as nothingness or void. But if we have understood that Buddhism is a realistic philosophy, it is impossible for us to understand emptiness like that. In Buddhism, emptiness is just as it is. A cup is a cup. A cup is never more than a cup, or a cup is never less than a cup. Nice answer. Number 11. What is better Zazen and worse Zazen? And Nishijima Roshi's answer, which I give to you folks often, is there is no better Zazen or worse Zazen. What is different from Zazen is wrong, and what is just Zazen is Zazen. Okay. Number 12. What is the eternal? Eternity is just a human idea, but the fact at the present moment is eternal because it must be recorded as a fact at the present moment and can never be erased forever. Next one. What is the meaning of Master Dogen's Bodhisattva Shishobo, which is the good relations of social relations of a Bodhisattva? Could you please comment on the 4 principles of a Bodhisattva's social relations? And here's what he says. Shobogenzo, chapter 45, is called Bodhisattva Shishobo, or 4 elements of a Bodhisattva's social relations. They are: first is free giving, second is kind speech, third is helpful conduct, fourth is cooperation. Free giving. When our autonomic nervous system is balanced, it is impossible for stinginess to occur. And if something is not necessary for us to keep, there is no reason for us to refuse giving it to others. Number 2, kind speech. When our autonomic nervous system is balanced, it is very natural for us to be polite to others, and if others receive our politeness, the others might be happy. Number 3, helpful conduct. When our autonomic nervous system is balanced, it will be happy for us to help others. We'll be happy helping others. And if others receive our kind help, they will feel very happy. And number 4, cooperation. When our autonomic nervous system is balanced, we are always cooperative in the common job, for common work. And what we want to accomplish will be accomplished much more faster. His grammar is a little off, but you get it. Number 14. What does it mean that life is only one breath? Our life always exists just at the present moment, and the length of the present moment is always the shortest time. And actually thinking, the present moment is much shorter than one breath. Therefore, we can say that our life is always much shorter than the length of our breath. Number 15. When should we break the precepts? We should never break the precepts at all, but sometimes we cannot avoid making a mistake. But don't worry about the facts that you have broken the Buddhist precepts, because it is completely impossible for you to come back to the past and correct your mistakes. Therefore, the best which you can do is just to throw away all your mistakes in the past and do the best just at the present moment. Where will you be in 100 years from now? And remember, Gustav's asking this from Nishijima Roshi, who is in his 70s at that point. Not so long, but when I die in a few years, everything will become nothing, including me, and I will take a rest forever. Okay. Number 17. How can we understand ourselves? I think that it is impossible for us to understand ourselves. The end. That's how he says. Number 18. What can we understand with words, and what can we not understand with words? We can understand everything, but at the same time, our understandings can never touch reality. Good one. Number 19. Is it possible to teach Zen? It is possible for us to teach Zazen, but it is necessary for everyone to practice Zazen by himself or herself. Number 20. Does Zazen have a goal? Zazen has a goal. The goal of Zazen is to practice Zazen itself. Nice answer. 21. Where do we come from? Why are we here? And where are we going? And Nishijima Roshi says, I think that such kinds of questions might be beyond all human beings' ability. 22. How can we let go of fame and profit? When our autonomic nervous system has become balanced, it seems to be so boring for us to pursue fame and profit, and we can find much more valuable objects to pursue. That is the truth. Number 23. Could you please tell me more about the city you were in Manchuria and your time there during the war? What was the name of the city? It was called Songo in Japanese at that time, and it was in the northwest district of Manchuria near Amur. It was just a military city for the Japanese army, but at the time, fortunately, there was no fighting in that district, so we were just guarding the district. Okay? Number 24. Could you please tell me more about how it was to return to Japan after the war? In June of 1945, I was ordered to move to Himeji City in Japan to guard Japan itself. So I traveled along the eastern coast of Korea in rather dangerous situations, and I met the end of the war in Himeji City in Japan. That's all he says. Number 25. How can Zazen make us be happy? And he says, it is just the happiest condition to practice Zazen itself. He always said Zazen would make you happy, and by just the practice, just doing it. Number 26, how can we practice Zazen in our daily chores? And he says, after moving to my new residence, where I am living now, his wife had passed away and he moved to a little apartment by himself. I have begun cooking by myself. So I have found the fact clearly that even my cooking in my daily life also has characteristics of action. Therefore, it can also be a kind of Buddhist effort. Of course, even though I am practicing Zazen 2 times every day. So he says, of course, even though I do that, I am practicing Zazen 2 times every day. Number 27. What is truth? Reality is the truth. Therefore, the universe is also the truth. Number 28. What are some of your favorite quotes from Shobo Genzo and why? And he says, for example, it is just moment by moment of red mind, which means raw mind or sincere mind, upon which we rely solely. That's Shobo Genzo Book 1, page 211 in his translation. The red mind suggests sincere mind, and this is a description of Master Dogen's daily life. Number 29. How can a Zen master help a student? A Buddhist master can help his student in teaching Buddhist philosophy, in guiding daily life, in practicing Zazen together, and in transmitting Buddhist Dharma. Okay. Number 30, last one. In your life, how have you noticed that Zazen is actually practically working? And he says, I have become a little better than before. Somebody should put out a book, Gudo Nishijima. It should be called I Have Become a Little Better Than Before, or A Little Better, maybe. It's kind of like that book that just came out and everybody's real excited about it by, I think, Dan Harris. It's like 10% better. That's Nishijima Roshi's attitude about Zazen. There you go. I've gone on long enough. I'm going to let it go at that. Remember, donations below, PayPal and Patreon. That's great. See you later. If you want me to talk about any of these specifically, let me know in the comments or let me know in an email and we'll see what we can do. Talk to you later. Bye.